Peace and prosperity. Welcome to Nikima Taylordtherapy channel. I'm really excited today. First and foremost, big up yourself if you're watching this. Please share, like, subscribe, send me a comment on any topic you want me to talk about. When it comes to well-being, mental health, balancing, that's my bag. I want to talk a little bit about me a little bit for those who are new to the channel, even those that have been part of the channel for a while and you're not sure exactly what I do. You know, it's therapy. It's particularly cognitive behavioral therapy, which is a type of psychotherapy. People refer to it as CBT. It looks at the way someone thinks, feels and behaves, and looks at how we can challenge the way someone thinks, feels and behaves to feel more like themselves or more balanced. That's the main goal, teaching you to be your own therapist, balancing out your emotions, self-regulation, that sort of thing. If you know someone that's going to benefit from any of those, send them this video, plug them into me. I have a website, Taylortherapy, Taylor-therapy, and all the details will be in the description. Today's session, today's video, I'm really excited. So super excited. I'm super excited, first of all, to have this platform, to have you guys, you know, super excited. Anyway, bringing it back, that's one. I'm super grateful as well, and I wish I will, that this is going to help you, even if it's just a little bit. So today's topic is about self-esteem. I really like working. Okay, so that's what I'm like. I'm a little bit but it's not good. I work for some, like, it works for some people. Some people really resonate with the way I am, and it doesn't work for others, and that's okay. And if it doesn't work for you, you can plug into someone else, or love to you, power to you. But if I do resonate with you, stay. Let me know what you think, no pressure. To those silent listeners, big up yourself, family members and friends and people I know of who are just silently listening. It's all good, it's all good. Self-esteem. Self-esteem. Anyway, so building self-esteem, causes of self-esteem, and ways we can work on self-esteem. Those are the three areas I'm going to cover. In therapy, I usually go more in depth. This is going to be general, just general, you know. I'm qualified as a cognitive behavioral therapist. Let me get my cup. A little plug. This is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful company called Educop Yourself, based in Birmingham, but I believe they can distribute across international, I think, not just nationally in the UK. But it's got Melanin King, Melanin Queen. It's got many different affirmations on other cups, different sizes. Had to bring this with me. All right, cool. So let me go back to what I was saying just before I was distracted by that wonderful piece of art right there. Okay, so qualified 2016, been doing this since 2013. Crikey, I'm just calculating how many years that is. I'm still learning, always willing to learn, whether it's professionally, personally. I don't mind learning from babies, little children, to the most elders, people my age. I'm always learning. I'm always trying to be the best version of myself in the most balanced way as I can be, if that makes sense. Anyway, so let's get right into this topic, I want to break down what self-esteem is, what low self-esteem may look like. Let's start off with that. So, got my notes, because, we got to prepare ourselves, We're dealing with people's emotions, we're dealing with people's livelihoods, we're dealing with people's lives. Preparation is key, All right. So, what is self-esteem? I like to refer to self-esteem as the way in which we value ourselves, the opinions we hold on ourselves. So the opinions, the values that we have on ourselves in general, that's just what self-esteem is. Some people argue you could have high levels of self-esteem and it can be very unhelpful and very destructive and may look like narcissism. Low self-esteem obviously looks like where an individual is devaluing themselves, self-doubt, low opinion of self, and it can be really destructive to your day-to-day, week-to-week, year-to-year friendships. So we're going to focus on low self-esteem today. I think one of the days it might be useful for me to talk about high levels, unhealthy high levels of self-esteem. I didn't think there was a thing. I was like, is there a thing? But if you think of self-esteem being the value and the opinion you have of yourself, and you think highly of yourself, and you have a high opinion of yourself, you're automatically going to make and look at other people differently. And it's not necessarily equal to that. Okay, let's bring it back. What I prepared for is about low self-esteem, the causes, what it might look like in your thought processes, your behaviors, and what solutions we have. So, low self-esteem, like I was saying, is self-doubt, or can look like self-doubt. It can look like low opinions of self. Trying to get things perfect as well, things must be a particular way, which then can move on to other symptoms like OCD, anxiety. It may move on to those symptoms, it may, depending on who you are. I'm not saying that people who have OCD, that's the link, but it may be. And it's definitely worth considering. That's all we're doing. That's all we're doing here, people. We're just kind of considering who we are. We're not only considering who we are evaluating, testing out to really overstand and understand ourselves. Side note, it's so important. The more we understand and understand self and our identity, who we are at the core, the more grounded that we are. The more grounded that we might fit, regardless of whatever things that are happening and going out. So if you're somebody that's quite confused about who you are as an individual, your identity, it can be challenging to navigate the society in which you live in, because so many different people and clubs or societies are giving you ideologies of what you look like and how you should be. And that doesn't necessarily ring true if that's not who you are, or if it feels uncomfortable, or whatever it is. I'm just saying, the more grounded we are within in our cause, the more balanced we are, the more we understand and understand who we are, the less we're shaken by external experiences in life. Hope that makes sense. I'm a little thirsty today. I had a bit of heartburn. I don't even think it's heartburn. It's just like maybe a bit of acid. Anyway, that tea is hitting the spot. Red bush tea. Raw bush. I think it's South African bush tea. Very nice. Big up to, I'm sure it was Wendy years ago. God bless Wendy. Phenomenal woman. Anyway, back to it. So, the more grounded we are, the more stability we have with our identity, the more easier it is to navigate the day-to-day, the week-to-week life experiences. Because life experiences, let's face it, day-to-day, week-to-week things that happen, whether it's small, big, what, it's normal. It might not be comfortable, pardon me. It might not be comfortable, but it's normal. Happiness, sadness, loss, love, whatever it is, it's normal. But it depends on how grounded we are. It depends on how grounded we are and how we react to it. Anyway, I bet you can tell this by now. I've had a few videos up, but the way I speak, I don't try to sound, I'm just me. I try not to sound intellectual or, overly a particular way, because it's just not me. If what I say sounds intellectual and professional, that's fair enough, that's fine, that's good. But in general, I tell you. All right, so symptoms. What are the symptoms of someone with low self-esteem? All right, so the symptoms that I've got jotted down here are that some people lose confidence in their ability or in themselves in general. And that could be confidence in their ability to do the work that they've done for 10 years. It could be losing confidence in the ability to start something new. It could be performance in sexual relationship. It could be so many different things. But not that to begin with, not in any particular order. Or somebody could be more irritated, more frustrated, which can lead to anger. Some people generally don't associate anger with low self-esteem. Anger linked to having low self-esteem and having a symptom of that being anger, people don't link that together. And if you can imagine, if you've lost confidence in yourself, you don't value yourself and you don't have a high opinion of who you are, you're probably quite critical in your headspace, in your thought processes, which I'm going to go to describe some of the common thoughts that we might have. All right. Hope this is making sense so far. If not, then leave a comment and I'll clarify anything you need to know. Okay. Where's my dog? This was a company in Birmingham or London, I think this was actually, from one of the Black Pound days that I frequented when I was over in the UK. I do miss the Black Pound days, every Saturday or the first Saturday of every month, even though it should be every Saturday. But even whether I'm here or in the UK, I make sure that I buy from as many Black organizations as possible, because I'm here to support my community of people. All right, so moving on, the symptoms. So we looked at low confidence in self, increased anger, people pleasing. We want to kind of people please. If we don't have a high value of self, we automatically think people don't have a high value of ourselves as well. And then if we people please, we do things that people want us to do, they might value us more. These are maladaptive thoughts. These are thought processes that we have just from having low self-esteem. Obviously increased negative thoughts of self. Like self-criticisms, self-blame, self-doubt, discounting and ignoring any positive or outstanding things, or any just nice things that anyone's done, said, or we've done for others. It's always discounted when we've got low self-esteem. And we constantly focus on the negatives. Constantly focus on the negatives. even if it's the minute negative thing, we constantly focus on it, or we pick out negative things because we're trying to disprove the greatness or the wonderfulness or, any positives from it. All right. So the thoughts, there's many other thoughts that come with it. These are just general feelings of sadness. This is similar to what I was saying earlier about cognitive behavioral therapy. We look at someone's thought processes, emotions, behaviors, and physical sensations as well. Because if you can imagine, if I'm working with someone with panic, if I'm working with someone with specific phobias, even depression and anxiety, it's really important to find out physically where you're feeling it in your body. I know depression is an emotion, these thought processes are in your head, and the behaviors you can tell, let me know what you did, but how did you feel it physiologically? That's really important. Okay, so emotions and feelings, usually from self-esteem, is a sense of sadness, a sense of guilt, a sense of low mood, anxiety, anger. Shame is a big one as well. Shame is a very big one. And usually shame, not all the time, but it can be associated with like this traumatic, something that's happened traumatic. Usually from a traumatic experience, we have the feelings of shame, guilt. There's other emotions as well that come with it, but yeah, that's a key one. The behaviors of someone with low self-esteem might be that they might not want to look after themselves hygienically as much. They may don't mind being okay in terms of hygiene, but their clothes might not be, I don't know, they just don't want to make an effort. Let's just say that, because I don't want to put anybody in they just don't want to make an effort. Because the value of self is just not there. Or you can get those with low self-esteem who have high levels of immaculate. They have to look perfect, makeup perfect. Even if they don't wear makeup, they have to look top notch, They have, and that's part of perfectionism. Perfectionism is usually linked to low self-esteem. If they have a low value or opinion of self, they do not want anybody else to have that of them. So what they do is try to do things perfectly, try to dress perfectly, try to look perfect, so nobody has that about them. So they don't have to relive that trauma from others. Having difficulty being assertive. And kind of like speaking out for self. That's very important as well. In terms of behaviors, they can come across bullyish and aggressive. It's another symptom. They can avoid opportunities just for the fear of failing, because obviously with that would then feed into that thought of their self-worth and opinion. Then you've got, so those are the behaviors. Then it's moving on to physical sensations. Where do they feel it in their body potentially? Everybody's different, and I'm just giving you a general breakdown of where someone with low self-esteem might feel it. And I'm not saying low self-esteem, therefore you must feel, think, and behave like this. There could be other things in there as well. You don't necessarily have low self-esteem on its own. It's usually low self-esteem that make you feel depressed, makes you feel anxious. What I like to do when I work with individuals is get to what's at the core, what's the bottom line, what is at the core. Because if we deal with the core, you're less likely to have the symptoms. I could work with the depression and the anxiety, and we could do all the different things to reduce that. But if we're not dealing with the core, it will come back again. These symptoms will come back again. Does it make sense? So if depression is at the core, and as a result of having depression for so long, your self-esteem has reduced, you know, we'd work on that depression, just as long as that's at the core. Yeah? All right. So, physiological, where do you feel it in your body? Tension, headaches, tension in your arms, your shoulders, shoulder blades, I think they're here. Tension in the whole body, you might be more likely to just be quite tense. Aches and pains as well, probably due to the amount of tension that you have. Tiredness, the fatigue is a big thing as well. And difficulty sleeping. If you've always had difficulty sleeping, I'm not saying it's all self-esteem or having low self-esteem. It's a symptom. Low self-esteem and difficulty sleeping is linked. And when I say difficulty sleeping, I don't mean insomnia where you can't sleep. It might be that you're always sleeping. It's just sleep difficulties across the whole board. Make sense? All right, good. So it's also got down here relationships. Sometimes it's not always easy to link whether you've got low self-esteem, but if you look at the types of relationships that you have around you, what do they say about you? So, relationships, seeking reassurance, that can show that so someone doesn't necessarily trust what they think. They have to get like a second opinion or call someone or say, I'm not sure. They always second get, what would someone else say, or someone that you care for, what would they think, what would they say, instead of just trusting your own. And it is okay to think about what others might say and think and do, but in the context of your value, your worth, and not trusting, even if it's just like, buying certain things or going certain places. We're always thinking about how's it going to be perceived by someone else, then that's not necessarily trusting you, and if you had great self-value, self-worth, then it wouldn't really matter what other people think. As long as your heart is kind of balanced, or the way you feel about yourself is healthy, then you're good to go. Hope that makes sense. Quite self-conscious about, I think that moves into what I was just saying as well, what other people are thinking. And I better not do it this way because people might think that. But if I did it this way, people might think this. I can't have them thinking this. So it can be quite, time consuming, energy draining, overthinking, overanalyzing. Yes, people pleasing. I think I said that earlier as well. But yeah, and what else? Withdrawing. Withdraw from certain people because you don't want them to, you just don't want to feel like a burden. That might be a core belief. That's a key core belief. It's hot. It is really hot in here. Sorry guys. I should put that fan on really. But I look so cool doing this. With my little fan. Core beliefs, yeah. So we're going to move on to core beliefs about that. Talks about what keeps it going, what keeps low self-esteem going. Though that what I've just talked about is kind of what is self-esteem, the symptoms of it, from a cognitive behavioral perspective. Now we're going to look at the causes. Ooh. Now we're going to look at the causes. All right, so usually I'm just going to go through down a list, and this is usually, generally, everybody's different. Through professional experience and training, what I've said, it rings true, but it doesn't mean it's your truth. Yeah? Doesn't mean it is your truth. All right, so, and if you are triggered by this video and you're thinking, I don't know what she's talking about, well, You're trying to challenge everything that I'm saying or counteract everything I'm saying. It's about you. God bless you. I'm sending you all the love. But usually what I do, if I'm triggered by something, triggered negatively by something someone said, as a therapist, as someone that's really good at reflecting, we don't even have to be a therapist or a counselor or a psychotherapist or whatever, you would think to yourself, what is it about me that I'm triggered by this thing that's external from me? What is it about me that I get upset with the way someone else thinks and feels and behaves and whatever? What is it about me? You have not got to like everybody. We shouldn't like everybody. We can accept people for who they are. We can respect, we don't have to accept them, we can respect people for who they are. But why is it, or who do I think I am, wanting to change people or saying that someone should be a particular way because they look a particular way or are a particular way? Or it's okay that certain, when you go into like a room, sorry. Just had a call come through. When you go into a room and you're thinking, oh my gosh, you meet someone, you're like, oh, my spirit doesn't resonate with this person. Like, I feel, I'm not keen on this person, but I don't know why. That's okay. It doesn't mean we've got to dislike them. It doesn't mean that we've got to love them. It just means that this is something I feel when I meet this person. And if it continues, if you have to meet them more than once, then it is just what it is. We don't have to act upon it. We don't have to do anything. When it's your boss, it's a bit more difficult. It's easy me sitting here saying this, but it's a bit difficult, But still ask the question, what evidence have I got to support my feeling? Literally, like, have they been disrespectful to me? Have they been, what is it about me that I don't like this person? So yeah. Anyway, let's go back. So, causes. Past experiences. Probably because they remind you of someone that you didn't like or you're getting bullied by. I don't know, whatever it is. Oh, shoot.